Oh, hello. Hey guys, it's DannyDealz here. Thank you for tuning in. It is 7:45 p.m. out here in beautiful Los Angeles. It is late at night out in the East Coast. Post market is over. Hope it's a great night or day wherever you find yourself. You have tuned in to Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more on behalf of Hurricane Lopez, Stock Karen, SoFi Bull, and the rest of the crew. We would like to say hello and welcome and hello. Guys, a lot of people are wondering what is the SoFi stock going to do tomorrow? We were on an epic heater there, guys. The stock had moved up from $4.49, I believe, on May 15. And then here we are 1 month later, June 15. The stock popped up above $10. And then we had a bit of a sell off today. It wasn't really an organic sell off. Basically, all the action was in the pre market. The stock sold off pretty hard in the pre market and then basically decided to just trade sideways through the rest of the day. Let me share my screen here with you guys. Um, Actually, it didn't trade sideways, it went up. So the stock, it says the stock opened at 918, but the stock really opened just under $9, triggering all the stop losses right away. But what you notice is nothing happened. Like there weren't that many stop losses. And then my theory on today is the algo was trying to hold $9. Like if you go back just a little bit, like you can see the algo was trying to hold 875 and then it was going up in this stepping pattern, sold back off, and then I think tried to hold $8. Let's take a look at the volume. 96 million shares traded. That's double the average volume. I think they probably measure like the last 30 or 60 days. So the volume was still very strong. Now, it wasn't the 118 million shares we saw yesterday, but this certainly was no organic sell off, guys. As far as the short interest, borrowed shares were just over 10 million, return shares were like 6.6. So the borrowed change was 3.7 million shares, guys. Now, when you think about the fact that less than 100 million shares traded hands, like 4% of the entire churn was the net borrowed change. So I think when you consider that the stock only went down 19 cents on the day, and granted it was down a bit more after hours, yeah, another 20 cents. So 40 cents on the day, increased to 4%. I don't put a lot of stock in post market, a lot of stock, no pun intended. Don't put a lot of stock in the post market. So you have to see what happens pre market. A lot of times these things reverse themselves and they kind of revert back to where the stock was trading when all that volume is there. But you have to look at the volume of that post market trading. Don't have that in front of me, guys, but I just wanted to comment on what actually kind of killed our rally here, which was the downgrade from Dominic Gabriel at Oppenheimer. You can see he had been a buy on the stock. He downgraded to a hold. Basically, he is still bullish long term on the stock. That's what's very encouraging. He talked about in an interview, when the stock was five, he was trying to whip the stock because he believed it was undervalued. But now that the stock essentially doubled almost overnight, he's like, basically, the stock just ran past his long term price target. So he's, basically saying he's trying to throw some cold water on the stock. It's getting overheated, even though they're doing a lot of things right. And he actually increased his estimates. He just feels the only major problem there is valuation. So guys, let's take a listen to Dominic Gabriel from Oppenheimer on CNBC television.
SoFi story. We want to really break down SoFi into two parts. And you really want to break down the bank on its own and the technology segment. And when you add all those up at a higher valuation of roughly, 3 times tangible book value multiple, and about $1.20 or so for the bank using Fiserv and FIS as revenue multiple comparables, you get to roughly about a $9.50 stock. And we think that that's
Guys, he's talking about, how he gets to his valuation. It actually makes a lot of sense. Like I said, my price target was $9.75. I recently increased that to $13.50. I explained why I did that, but if you listen to his logic, it makes sense. He can back it up what he's talking about. He does a calculation. He feels, the $9 range is sort of at the high end of the range, so he felt the stock was getting overheated. He downgraded to a hold in $8.
At the high end of where the stock is likely to trade on 2024 estimates.
Yep. So, now I guess the question becomes from here after this, initial flurry of excitement about, and just so people are following, the student loan resumption could be a huge catalyst for people to refi, and that's kind of SoFi's bread and butter. What's the next leg of the story?
Yeah, it's a great question. And that is baked into our estimates. We also have some personal loan slowdown in originations baked into our estimates, given our overall thesis about, consumer spending slowing, demand slowing. That's also baked into our estimates. But we think that the SoFi story is going to be one of just execution. And instead of having various company-specific or macro issues affecting the trajectory of the stock, we really think that it's going to be all about execution, delivering on what they've said, GAAP profitability, improving margins over time. We think that that's going to drive the stock higher over time, but perhaps a pullback to lower levels near term.
Sure. And those lower levels, be they what they are, don't deter your long-term more bullishness on the stock?
It doesn't, because, look, they've done a really great job on their revenue growth and being really nimble. And the diversification of their business has really shown through, given.
Guys, this is what I talk about all the time, is being really nimble. Like, what other companies can you take away the core of their business with a pandemic and a student loan moratorium, and then the company basically reinvents itself, turns on a dime, and develops this entire new lending business while it's sort of revamping the Galileo Technesis side, which is now just all Galileo. It's been extraordinary, and I think he's talking about the fact that it's all execution, and then in the next sentence he's talking about, really how good the execution has been. So he's actually a SoFi bull. He just feels like this run is getting a little bit too hot, and I mean, it's hard to argue with the guy. As you'll hear very soon, I personally disagree. I think the stock's going up. I'm a perma bull, a mega bull. I'm ready to charge.
And that, they were really low on originations for student loans, which is where they originally started the business. Had they not made the changes they made over the last number of years to diversify their business, this would have been this stock would have been in a significantly different place. And it's because.
And guys, that's why if you look at earnings for companies like Affirm, Upstart, other fintechs, even like Robinhood last year, like their earnings in terms of not the top line, but the bottom line actually like fell off a cliff. Like as SoFi marches toward profitability, I just implore you to compare their quarterly earnings and their market caps to other fintechs, even companies like CrowdStrike or Palantir. I've made these in previous videos. If you guys can dig them up, please do. But SoFi, I believe, even though he's saying this is the top end of the fair valuation, I disagree. My price target, again, is $13.50. And I actually believe we're going to break down $10 here tomorrow. And I'm going to show you on the SHARTMASTer interactive chart just a moment.
Because of their execution, that, look, they've been beating expectations. We actually raised our revenue outlook in this note.
Raise the revenue outlook in the downgrade.
We reiterated our outperform when the stock was just below $5 as well, trying to, fight the bears off with a big stick. And so we believe in the company's execution. We believe in the business model. For us, it's just about valuation.
All right.
Okay, guys. So, I mean, that basically tells the story. I think the downgrade there, the reaction to it is just overblown. The fact that he thinks the stock is rallying too hard, too far, too fast, may very well be true, guys. I'm trying to be a realist here, but it also fell way too far too fast in a completely unjustifiable manner. He's saying it himself. Like, I was trying to beat the Bears off with a stick at $5 because this stock should have never been at $5. He's like, but once it doubled, it got too hot. He's like, more $8 to $9 range is appropriate. He's putting his call at the lower end of that range, but he believes, up to $9 would be fair. Guys, why do I believe this is what I can do? Like, I eat, breathe, sleep, and dream about the SoFi stock, guys. So I just went ahead and drew what's going to happen tomorrow, guys. Basically, we came back up today. You can see the gap has been filled very, very quickly. We consolidated here just over $9, like 908 was kind of the mean of this line. In this whole run, guys, the stock has not really traded sideways much. It's just been basically a complete bull charge. So you can see this upper bound line when the stock popped up over $10. I think the stock went to like $10.14, 10.13 it looks like. But then the stock came down and it actually consolidated into that wedge kind of coiled spring pattern there right at $10. It consolidated sideways twice at $9.50. Basically, the stock recovered so quickly off of this bottom trend line. You can see what happened here, guys. The stock was basically dumped by market makers pre-market down to these levels. And what do you expect to see? You expect to see stop losses trigger, the stock fall off a cliff, fall back down, test $8, the previous resistance level become support. Not at all what happened, guys. We have massive buying pressure coming in despite market makers trying to trade the stock sideways at $9. You know that's what they want to do. They want to push this thing sideways all day, get capitulation, get retail to sell the stock. And basically what happens, buying pressure, buying pressure, buying pressure, sells off, retests, guys, retests this lower bound line of this channel that we're in right now. Buying pressure all day, buying pressure after market makers try to tank the stock. After hours, stock sells off, goes down just below this trend line, passes back down below the 50-day moving average, which is right here in purple, guys. That's right here. Stock swells off after hours. Guys, what's going to happen tomorrow, basically, is this. We're going to have that big buying pressure, that big move up in the first 15 minutes, very similar to what we did here. It's probably, we've basically been in an upward channel, guys. If you look at this area of the chart and this area of the chart, one, two, these are very, very similar, guys. The stock falls off. It consolidates right here, just over $9. There's this huge green candle upwards, huge green candle upwards, trades up and to the right, and then consolidates again at $9.50. It didn't have this little dip right here, but it's the same basic idea, guys. And what happens after the stock consolidates at $9.50? Boom, it goes up and it tests this upward trend line. Now, guys, I don't think the stock is going to come off and test, up here at the, 1072 level, but I think the stock is going to push back up and test these same levels it did before, perhaps 1022, perhaps 1025, but it's going to push way up and then they're going to try to sell it back off and trade it sideways, keep it around 10. I think they'll like to sell it back off to this line, but I don't think it's going to test as far as this line. I think there's going to be a lot of buying pressure tomorrow afternoon, and I think the stock runs back up and it closes tomorrow at $10.03, guys. And I think we're going to trade probably around, if I don't miss my guess, I'd say between 90 and 100 million shares tomorrow, guys. So that's what it's going to be. I can't, break down how my thinking works with these charts and these levels. It's so very convoluted, but I'm seeing something here, guys. I'm seeing something that basically is telling me that this as much as they tried to kill this rally today, guys, it just didn't work. And I know the futures are trending a little bit down for tomorrow. If we take a look at the, looks like the NASDAQ futures down, 0.3%, 0.26%, S&P down 0.2%. So no big deal, guys, basically flat. Remember, the indexes were up today. So SOFI, as Zach said, SOFI was down on an up market. And guys, when I talk about this rally, I want to, I feel like it's like, Sylvester Stallone. He's like, Troutman's trying to talk him down. He's like, Johnny, you got to give up. They got an army out there. You can't win. He's like, they don't first blood. The Chia Pet. All I wanted was something, but he kept pushing me, sir. He kept pushing me. He's like, that's not the story they tell, John. Did a little pushing of your own. Like, this is first blood. This is first blood. He's like, well, do you think the SoFi rally's over? It's over. Nothing is over. Guys, please send my Oscar nominations, courtesy of Hurricane Lopez. No, guys, I just think I don't think this rally's over yet, guys. They pushed the stock. Stock should have been trading, yeah, somewhere 9, 10 all along based on the stellar execution. And the guy, the market makers decided to just short the heck out of it. And then after a relatively good ER, with the Chia Pet, with his multiple downgrades, multiple notes, multiple revisions, basically, tried to single-handedly crash the stock, was quite successful in that regard, along with his cohorts in the media. Then in this rally, the entire media flipped. They've been doing nothing but tickling SoFi's nether region. And, the stock shoots up. And then once market makers are done with this, everybody's saying, oh, they're going to dump it on retail. They're going to dump it on your head. No, it's just we don't have to follow the script, guys. The TURD Army marches to its own drummer. I believe we go up, guys. I believe this is trending up. I believe it's the exact same pattern here. I believe it's going sideways, consolidating. Basically, from this point here, we're still holding above 9. It retested once, twice, 3 times. 9 is solid. I think 950 is very solid. Again, during regular trading, we regained the 50-day moving average, actually passed the 10-day moving average. And then as you can see right here, just at the very end of trading, broke out through the 200-day moving average. I don't necessarily like that little red candle there at the end, but these things happen, guys. So sorry, I keep moving the wrong thing. I don't want to move that. I want to move this. But guys, this is what I believe is going to happen tomorrow. Stock's going to run up at open, and then they're going to try to trade it sideways, try to hold it at $10. They'll pull it down below. Buying pressure late in the day in the last 90 minutes of trading is going to push it back up, go sideways, say the last 40 minutes, and then just hang on above $10 at close. Guys, the rally is not over. Nothing is over. The TURD Army is not finished. DannyDealz says we are breaking $10 down tomorrow. Guys, tell me what you think down in the comments. Am I too bullish? Am I insane? Or is this stock still not right where it should be? I feel like there's so many eyes on the stock. It's one of the biggest trending stocks in the entire market. I just feel like people don't want to be left out in the cold once the student loans actually start. I think there's more positive than negative catalysts coming for the stock. I don't really see anything majorly negative on the horizon, and I see the stock just continuing to trade in this upward channel, and I see us continuing the bull run here tomorrow. Guys, it's DannyDealz. It's un poco mas. Want to thank you for watching. For Hurricane Lopez and Stock Karen, we will talk at you again tomorrow about the SoFi stock, Sofi Technologies Inc., ticker symbol SOFI. It's June 15th, 2023, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's your Topper time check. We are looking for a big move upward tomorrow, guys, because we are bullish the SoFi stock. You guys have a great night.